Talk radio for the Generation X audience and beyond who have conservative values. Now, here's the host of Conservatives Talk, Donald Thornton.
Talking with Ilona Turner. She's the legal director of the Transgender Law Center. See, Ilona, I told you you'd have people who'd agree with you. Did I not?
Yes.
I mean, I would love to keep talking. Andy, you made some great points. I appreciate you calling in. That's what I love. I love spirit of debate. That's what this country is all about. Leona, obviously, like I said, I disagree with you, but obviously you guys have scored a great victory for your cause. We'll continue this debate and it'll go on. But I think it's important that we have this discussion and we have a place to where we can come into some type of a compromise, because we don't want to have a place to where one side feels like their rights are being trampled on. In the case of my rights. Go ahead, real quick.
Right. No, absolutely. And I think it's so important to just have these conversations. And so many people don't understand what being transgender is, and they find it scary. And, so just learning more about it and that transgender people exist and some of the problems that they experience, I think, is really important in moving the ball forward.
Ilona, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. What's your website again? I don't know if I even asked you before. Go ahead.
Sure. It's transgenderlawcenter.org.
Appreciate it. All right. Thank you for, again, being on the show, and we appreciate it. We'll be talking with you soon. Have a great evening.
So much.
All right. I think it's very important, like I said, that we deal with this issue honestly and openly. I think it's important that we take a look at, and these are my closing arguments, as I've always said, where our country is going and how this rights industry that's been created in our society is fundamentally transforming America into a place that I don't believe our forefathers intended it to be. And I can say that as a black man in this nation. I can say that as a person who understands what it means for my life to be affected by the tyranny of the majority. I can say that. My ancestors understood that. I was thinking the other day, I was born in 1967. I was only born 3 or 4 years before the Emancipation Proclamation was signed in this country in 1863 or 64, whatever it was. 100 and some odd years only before I was born. And that doesn't even include the 70 or 80 plus years of Jim Crow that existed after that. So I understand what it feels like to be tyrannized by a majority. But this is not the same thing. And this is the argument that the left, I believe, always makes the mistake when they equate sexual orientation and gender identity with ethnicity. They are not the same. I cannot change who I am. I was born this way. And when you make public policy based on a choice, I know that they don't like to hear that word, a behavior, when you make a decision, I know, like Andy just said, well, they didn't want to be that way. Who wanted to be that? Well, of course you chose. Something happened within your life. You can't tell me that God made a man want to dress like a woman or a woman to want to dress like a man. Something happened within that person's life. And again, there's been no credible study that has confirmed that transgenderism or sexual orientation is an immutable trait. None. So to make public policy based on choices, to make public policy based on behaviors is always wrong, ill-advised, and it's a slippery slope. So now we see it. This is what the LGBT community has always been about doing. This is what they've been doing behind the scenes. Now, not just public, not just federal, not just state and local, but now private businesses can be sued if they decide for whatever reason they don't want to adhere to the transgenderism or the LGBT community's policy of transgenderism. When do we give up our rights as business owners in the public square? Where do we give up that right?
You've been listening to Conservatives Talk radio for the Generation X audience and beyond, with host Donald Thornton.